Hi everyone, it is Tag Team Friday. My name is Sharon and today I am going to show you how to make this simple but elegant tag. For today's project we need just a limited number of supplies. I am using a couple of images from the Gilded Age bundle on the premium membership site. So I'm using this image of the ladies and this image of the frame. I've pre-cut my images and I size them to be 5 inches high by 4 inches wide. And then I've also cut a piece of cardstock to the same size. And I like to use the cardstock because it gives this tag kind of a cabinet card feel, gives it a little bit more heft and strength. And then I also prepped the back side of the cardstock, and I just glued on this piece of ledger paper that is actually a freebie on the Graphics Fairy website. So I've layered that, also did a little bit of light collaging on there, so I grabbed some scrap papers to do that, and that's about all we need for papers. We also need a little piece of ribbon and a wax seal to finish it off. So the first thing I'm going to do is to cut out the inside of my frame. And if I'm doing some cutting like that, I usually like to cut away all the excess first, just very loosely, to make it easier to do the exact cutting. So I'm going to cut out most of that and then just go around my frame. It's large enough that it's not too fussy, but I like to do, I mean, you could layer the images and print them out as one sheet, but I like to do 2 separate pieces and layer them. It just gives it a little bit more dimension. And if you really wanted to give it more dimension and give it that cabinet card feel, you could actually print this frame on cardstock, and that would also make it seem a little bit more authentic. Okay, so I'm not an exact cutter. I've got a few little white edges, and what I usually like to do with that then is to just ink around it a bit to get rid of some of that white, and that'll just finish it off nicely. I'm trying to do this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just using a brown ink. It's called Gathered Twigs. And I think that's probably good. Now I will put glue on the back side of my frame so I can glue it down to my image. And I'm just using a glue stick for that step. Get around that frame. Okay. I got a little bit too much glue on there, so I am going to try to scrape that off. I'm a heavy-handed gluer, that's for sure. Okay, so I've got that on there. Now I'm going to put some glue on my piece of cardstock and glue that to the top layer. Get some nice coverage on there so it sticks well. And let's see, that's my top. Now there might be a few little white edges peeking around the outside on this now that I have it glued, so I am going to take my ink again and just do a little bit of inking around the outside to kind of get rid of that edge. You could recut it if you wanted to, just to get it all lined up if you're not someone who does inking. I don't do a lot of inking in my work, but I do occasionally ink in situations like this where I'm just trying to cover up a little white edge. There, that kind of camouflages that. Okay, so our next step then is to attach this ribbon on the bottom and this wax seal. So what I'm using to attach that, I have this punch which puts just a little slot in there. You could probably use an X-Acto knife or a scissors as well to get the same kind of cut. So it just creates that little slit in there. And then I take my ribbon and feed that through. And I really kind of liked how this black ribbon plays with this really rich brown gold frame. I think it just gives it a lot of elegance. And so to keep that in place where I want it, I'm just going to staple that on there. Okay, and I will cover up my staple with my wax seal. What I like to do with wax seals is I like to create a whole bunch of them ahead of time so I have them available when I need them, and I just put them on a piece of book page, and that way I can just tear them out when I need them. And I've got the paper on the back side, which makes it really a lot easier to adhere the seal to any type of paper. So I think I'm going to go with this second one right here. And I just kind of loosely tear around it and just get the paper off around the edge. And then my backside paper remains, and that'll make it easy to glue right on here. And I am going to use Fabri-Tac for this. I like to use Fabri-Tac for things that are a little bit thicker, heavier, might need a little bit extra. And I'm just going to glue that right on there. And that's it for our front side. Now the only other thing, and this isn't necessary, is I like to do just a little bit of collaging on the back like this one. So I'm going to take, I just have these offcut scraps. I'm just going to maybe tear a piece. And maybe put that on like that. And I've got this one. I think I'll do something similar with the rose. Try to get that on there. It just adds a little bit of interest. It still leaves a lot of room if you want to do some journaling on the back of it. So I will glue those pieces on. Okay, and that is the back side. So it is really as simple as that. I think one last step that I'm going to attempt to do is I do like the rounded corners on this project. This is a little thick, so we'll see if I can get it to go through my corner rounder. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And that is it. Within a few minutes, you've got yourself a really nice and effective tag. I hope you enjoyed that little craft with me today. And until next time, bye-bye.